Hello, everyone. Thank you for supporting Voices de la Luna, San Antonio's quarterly literature and arts magazine. Help me today in welcoming our special guest, Gregg Barrios, as he celebrates his 80th today. And after you meet him, you will see why he was named a cultural sage by our honoree, Dr. Ellen Riojas Clark. Gregg, welcome and thank you for joining us. We're so excited that you're here.
Gracias, Natalia.
Can you tell us a story of how you first brought literature to la gente, to the readers of Victoria, Texas? You told me once it started in the library.
I think my whole life begins in the library. My father made me a book case early on, and I would go to the library every day after school. I was still in the 11th grade, and the librarian would give me access to all the books, even the adult books. So I was surprised one day when they said, "We have to talk to you. It's something important." I was afraid that they were in trouble because they were letting me read adult books. Well, to my surprise, they said, the editor of the Victoria Advocates Fund section or feature section is looking for someone to do a local book review, so it will be part of what the community has to say about books.
And so what happened? They told you that they were looking for someone to interview and write?
Well, I immediately said, well, why aren't you going to review these books? They said, all we do is check books and check them out.
So you started as a book critic at the age of 16. And that's not all. Called South Texas Renaissance Man, whose work has recently been archived at UCLA, his legacy leaves no artistic stone unturned. He is a timeless and timely Chicano poet who pushes boundaries, cultural norms, and challenges the status quo as an LGBTQIA voice. He's a brave, trailblazing playwright, filmmaker, teacher, an artist who worked with Andy Warhol in his factory, a mentor of poet James Franco and many other writers, journalist, newspaper editor, and a music, culture, and literary critic. Currently serving as the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at the National Book Critics Circle Awards and the author of several plays. Gregg, I want to just stop and say, of all of your amazing accomplishments, some of which I've named and some of which I haven't yet, your experience and roles and accolades, which one stands out to you to be the most true to your mission as a writer, as that fire that was lit inside of you when you were a young boy?
I think that ultimately when I went to Los Angeles to become a teacher and a writer, I was able to get a job at the Los Angeles Times. This was for me, amazing. Here I was, this little Mexican boy who had served in the service, who had gone to college, and yet my future was still a mystery. When I got to LA, I found out that there were very few Latinos in the newspaper business. And this was the second largest newspaper in the United States. They hired me because, one, I could speak Spanish, I could write in Spanish, I knew the literature, and I knew the music literature as well. And so they gave me a job doing all of that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we forget, Gregg, that your role as a veteran has been a huge part of shaping you as an advocate, as an artist, and as a poet. Your poetry has been published for decades. You're the author of La Causa, Puro Rollo, which has an introduction by the legendary Tomás Rivera. And your upcoming poetry is coming up in a collected works. Can you tell me about that project that's happening with Hanson Press, right?
Yes. Well, actually, it's an anthology of the best of the 4 volumes of poetry that have previously been published. They are, also a new, exciting collection. So it's called My Life, The Poem I Never Wrote, Selected Poetry, 1967 to 2021.
Wow, I can't wait to read that, and so many more. There's plays that you're working on, including the story of Versace's murder and this biography of Jose Carrasco. You've interviewed so many people, it's dizzying. Selena, Mike Tyson, Jose, Muhammad Ali. Sandra Cisneros has called you the Mexican Forrest Gump. But Gregg, what is it that you want us to know about you? What is it that you want to share with us today at this gala?
The fact that we are all part of what literature brings to our people, to everyone. And I think it's important that we nourish that in our children, that we make a library accessible to them. So someday, maybe they'll find you in that library and offer you an opportunity you can't resist.
That's so beautiful, Gregg. Thank you so much. You were a teacher, you've taught children, and you're still a teacher. You're a great maestro. Thank you for being a part of our time here today at Voices de la Luna.
Muchas gracias.
Qué lindo.
Wonderful.
Good?
How many minutes?